That's astonishing. It's absolutely world class. Drama from day one. This is the league we want to watch. Only football can make you feel like this.
They think it's all over. It is now.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're a new podcast called It's Pronounced Football. We're a football/soccer podcast for all your Premier League. Basically, every league, we just chat about it. We have a beer and we chat about the sport. I'm Tom. I'm from London. I moved to America almost 3 years ago now, and I've got a couple of buddies with me. And I'm a Tottenham fan.
Hey guys, my name is Brato. I was actually born in Bosnia and I moved to the States in 1999. I've been a Chelsea fan since 1998 and I've lived through the good times and the bad times. A lot more better times than the bad times. And I don't know what to say next. Lost my train of thought.
Well, yeah, that's because, Chelsea kind of sucks. I'm Steve-O, also known as Slippy Steve. I was actually born in the U.S., but grew up in Nigeria, and now I'm back again, just bouncing back and forth. I'm a Man United fan. Been a United fan before the treble in 99. Just want to clarify that real quick. Also, obviously, Nigeria Super Eagles fan. Still remember when we were ranked in the top 5 in the whole world. Just shout out to that piece of history. Life has been great as a Man United fan. Not so recently, but we're back in the up and up, and just we'll be looking to remind these boys of how amazing Manchester United is as we claim top 4 and win the season next year. I still can't believe Tottenham beat Arsenal.
Man, I'm pumped about that.
Especially after having no shots on target against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Really?
It came out of nowhere, man. Like
how does that even happen?
Well, they didn't even play that well, to be honest. But whatever they did, I thought we had a couple of players that I thought Lo Celso had a bad game. Ben Davis did okay, I guess. Still not like a crazy good performance, but Lucas Moura, damn, that boy played out of his skin.
Really?
Yeah, man. He made 10 tackles, which is the most for any Tottenham player in a game since 2014.
He's a striker.
Yeah, I know.
Or a winger.
They put him on the wing. They marked them 4-4-2, and it seemed to work because they didn't really test us. They just had the ball a lot. But man,
crazy.
I'm so happy about that win.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. I'm really pissed off about today. Apparently, Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams are both injured, so we don't have a left back, and we need to beat Leicester City on the 26th. We need to beat everybody else on the 26th because we're tied with them. Well, we're not tied. They have better goal difference, so we are in 5th. We should have hopped over Chelsea and Leicester City. So
I am very happy considering that.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Guys, Chelsea out.
I feel like there's a lifeline, and Chelsea had this opportunity to move on up, and just never ever wanted to take it. And the craziest part to me is that Leicester. I mean, I was looking at the statistic, and they lost out of the last 7 games. They won single game. We're talking about a team that beat Southampton 9-0 earlier this season. What happened to their form?
They've fallen off.
It shows you how important Maddison is because they haven't got Maddison at the moment or Ricardo Pereira. So those 2 players completely changed Leicester's whole game. And it's showing with their form at the moment. They're not looking great. They can't string passes together. I guess Maddison is their engine and playmaker in the middle that just makes every bit of difference to that team.
Well, even their attitude, against Bournemouth, their attitude of every single player was absolutely abysmal. Suyachuk literally just took the guy out when he was trying to get the ball and got the red card. Got kicked out. I don't get it. It's like the entire attitude of the entire defense and midfield was just trash.
I mean,
Oh.
they might be tired as well. Like United, similar to Man U, they're not resting players. They're just going with the same starting 11 every week. And that showed. Man United today, that showed how tired they were. Fernando did nothing. Like, Pogba gave the ball away.
United have depth. I feel like this weekend, the top 4 contenders have generally been let down by the tactical side of management. You know, they actually have depth. If you start with Fred or if you just start with Fred in the midfield instead of playing Bruno and Pogba for the 5th time in a season, then Pogba can come in or Bruno can come in with fresh legs in the second half and change the entire game.
Yeah.
Instead of taking him out and then putting Fred in when everyone else is tired and needs an uplift, Fred is not a guy who's going to give you that uplift.
No. But the thing is, though, like, I mean, for what I was seeing when we were playing is that Matic is a whole level above McTominay and Fred. Because what Matic does, like, he really doesn't play like a defensive midfielder. He's just like a deeper midfielder than even Pogba. Because, like, Matic is getting the ball right on the back line with the other defenders and sending the ball. He's either carrying it or passing the ball up, which Pogba does the same, but he doesn't drop all the way down. So then Bruno is just allowed to just, like, roam around and do whatever he wants. Because, like, he can just do whatever he wants because he has 2 people that can drop back and pass the ball. And the same thing with Maguire. I mean, Maguire hasn't been playing defensively that well, but when Maguire carries, he can carry and pass the ball. So, but Fred cannot do that. McTominay can't do that as well. And that's why it really worked. We have, like, deep line, like, playmakers like that.
Well, Mata could. And you had Mata on the bench, too.
I don't really get it.
I'm just saying, I feel like playing 5 games in a row when the games are every 3 days. You're gonna have mistakes like Pogba made today. It's just mental exhaustion.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I was saying. Like, we need to rotate, and we didn't. It's like, oh, look, we're in 3rd right now, but we're in 5th, and then we have to hope Tottenham shows up against Leicester City. Then we have to show up against Leicester City too, and we have to show up against Chelsea in the FA Cup semifinal. And isn't it Arsenal and Leicester City on the other side of the semifinal?
It's they're playing this. Who have they got this week? Hold on.
For the FA Cup, it's Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Leicester City, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think so. I think you're right. Did you see Maguire's defending for the final goal?
No.
He was marking Wan-Bissaka.
Oh my goodness.
He had both hands on Wan-Bissaka's back, and then I think it was Bednarek for Southampton got the flick on at the near post. And I saw a meme on Instagram, and it was Maguire, like, holding Wan-Bissaka's back.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah, I thought Solskjaer got it extremely wrong today on lineups. And I mean, but it's been happening, you know. Frank Lampard got it wrong against Sheffield. It was just very poor man management, I thought.
I think so. It's also tough because you can imagine talking to the players. Every single player will say, yeah, I'm fit, I can play, because everyone wants to play. So you kind of got to go with your instinct. And as much as I badmouth him, that's what Mourinho does. Like, if Mourinho thinks you shouldn't play, you won't be playing. No matter how much I hate it being a Spurs fan, he will not play Ndombele because he's not fit enough.
Yeah.
I called Spurs beating Arsenal. I knew it was going to happen. Mourinho is, as much as I hate his style and as boring as it is, against big teams, he shows up. He shows up and he will find a way to win.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he exposed Arsenal's defence. He played deep and then knew that Kane and Son would get help from the wings I don't know why he played Sissoko on the wing. I think he played Sissoko on the wing to keep Kieran Tierney quiet, and Tierney did nothing all game. Nicolas Pepe, probably the most overrated winger in the league. If Ben Davies can keep you quiet, I'm sorry, but you're not a good footballer.
Yeah.
Like, you're not that good if Ben Davis can keep you quiet. Because Ben Davis, as you know, I just don't think he's great. But he defended really well and hit the bar from 35 yards. That would have been some goal, but I think Mourinho just got tactically it completely correct. I
So
think
there's hope.
it could have been more if Harry Kane and Son weren't so selfish. Like Kane shoots from like the tightest angle when Steven Bergwijn had an open net. Like it's so frustrating. And then Son did the exact same thing. Well, I think we could have won 4 or 5-1 in the end, but I'm just happy we won.
I think you got lucky with that mistake that was made by Valachina. I thought it was just an awful mistake, and after that, it seems like you guys knew you were going to win the game. It was going to be boring. I knew the game. I had a feeling the game was going to be really boring and hard to watch, but I figured Mourinho was going to find a way to win. I'm pretty sure to play with 4 strikers just to win that game.
It was pretty end to end. Like, we had way more chances. As I said, like, I don't know why Kane tried lobbing, I think it was Martinez in goal, and not just going round him for that chance that Lucas Moura put him in. Because he had so much time. I think he just didn't realise how much time he had. But I'm not complaining. We won. They could have performed a little bit better, but under Mourinho, that's what you get, I'm afraid. Just park the bus and counter-attack.
He parks the bus, and it works. Arsenal had 63% possession that game. He parks the bus, and he hits you in a counterattack. And with Son and Moura, who are extremely fast, it's kind of a good system that he walked in.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird because that's what we tried to do at Manchester United, but it didn't work. Then Solskjaer came in and did the same exact thing, and it worked. I don't know, it's kind of weird, though, isn't it?
It worked. Like the second season, Mourinho was in charge of United. The only reason that he didn't win the title is because Man City had a beast of a season and got 100 points. I think United did 93. Any other season, and you're basically going to win a trophy with 93 points.
Yeah.
I think the problem happens that Mourinho can't keep the same players for more than 2 seasons, and then he wants transfers and he wants change. And it seems like every team, 3rd season in, is not willing to provide you that. So,
and I think what the amount he demands a lot from his players too, so they eventually end up getting burnt out. Like, I feel like you're not like, there's no in between with Mourinho. You either like really like him or you die for him. You're just like, you know what, like, get out of my face. I can't play for you. Like, he's just like strong of a character and abrasive of a character. Because I feel like there are a lot of players I know there are a lot of players in Man U that are just like ready for him to be gone. Like a lot of players, like you could just see like the interactions, like and then whenever they give interviews, like I remember like Pogba saying, "Oh, I'm not allowed to say anything negative."
Why? Why? Well, I mean, I'm really always curious as to why that is, because Mourinho is a proven winner. He has won every country that he has been in. He's won with Chelsea. He has won with Madrid. He has won with Inter Milan. He has won with Porto. Like, at a certain point, is it the fact that these players just don't care about winning, or do they want to play a certain style that's more beneficial to them? And I felt like that was the case with Pogba.
I mean,
possibly.
I think as a player, imagine we all play ourselves. Imagine turning up to a game and you're pumped about it, and then your manager being like, right, we're not going to attack. We're just going to let them attack and have all the possession. And you're like, well, I can't show what I can do then. And you can see it in the frustration on their faces. Like, I mean, Son hasn't been playing well lately, even though he got a goal the other day. But before Mourinho came in, like, he was unstoppable. Same with Lucas Moura. And Lucas Moura, I think, has only scored 1 goal under Mourinho because Mourinho is playing him more as a winger. It's interesting, though, that he's managed all 3 of our teams. So we have
Yeah.
three different perspectives, and obviously he did the best at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, he had 2 stints there, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and he won in both, right?
Yeah, he won in each time it was there. But I also think the players that work best with Mourinho are hard workers. Willian thrived under Mourinho at Chelsea, his second stint. Drogba, who is a very hard worker, thrived under Mourinho. I think it's the fact that Mourinho needs certain players that are willing to put in work and not rely just on their talent. And I think why he freaking loves playing Sissoko. I think that's why he likes playing Sissoko. I think that's why he liked Nemanja Matic, to get him from Porto. Did he buy him back from Porto to bring him back to Chelsea? I think he just prefers players that are very hardworking over talented. And I don't get it, but he wins. And I think he will win a trophy with Spurs.
But see, that's the thing, though. It's just like, so he's not like flexible. So like, you see, like, there's a lot of like coaches out there, like they'll talk about like Ferguson, right? Like Sir Ferguson, and every different player has a different experience with him because he's like more about man management. He's just like, okay, like if the guy's like maybe more like a diva, he's not gonna yell at them in the dressing room. He's gonna be like, okay, hey, you should have done that. Like, okay, don't do that again. But if somebody like Roy Keane, he's gonna like go at it because Roy Keane, if you like tell Roy Keane like, hey man, you probably shouldn't have done that, like soft spoken to him, Roy Keane's gonna look at you like, what do you mean? Like, because Roy Keane can take it. But if he's not gonna go like Cristiano Ronaldo, like just like yelling at him because like he'll have a negative response to that. And like I think with Mourinho is just like he has like just one way of interacting with players, and that's why it's just like you see a lot of, like I said, like the players that he likes, they thrive because like it works for them. The players that aren't like that are just gonna like not thrive because like what is going on? Like why is he treating me like this? And then and it just becomes divisive because it's just like, okay, I don't like being treated like this, and it just like ends up like then he's like, okay, then that's when he's transfers because like, okay, these players aren't the kind of players I want. And then like 3 years later, it's like, okay, yeah, we're not going to get all these players that you want. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, but I mean, and I'm not trying to be one of those people that says that the culture and people are not as, they're a lot more soft now than they used to be 15, 20 years ago, the players, and I generally wonder, is it because these young players are just kind of coming up and or players that are just used to certain kind of treatment because of their talent and stardom that they can't handle that. My Pogba comes to mind usually, but Luke Shaw was criticized under Mourinho so much, and he actually came back and he busted his ass to prove Mourinho wrong. And I feel like not a lot of players do that as much.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made a good point because I don't know how many times I say to people, I don't get why Mourinho doesn't play Ndombele. He's the club's record signing, but everyone at Spurs has said that he doesn't train well. He's lazy in training. He doesn't work hard. So, I mean, you've brought up a good point there. Like, everyone at Spurs has said that. Like, Ndombele, he can switch it on when he wants to. But I don't think that's what Mourinho wants. I think Mourinho wants you to sprint at every single ball, even in training.
Yeah.
And it's interesting what Roy Keane said about the Hugo Lloris and Son argument last weekend. Roy Keane was like almost crying because he loved it so much. And he's like, this is what's missing from football is players not giving each other a hard time. And like patting each other on the back too much if they make a mistake. Like we're all old enough to remember Roy Keane playing. If he made a mistake, you're not getting away with it.
Yeah. Mourinho would have loved Roy Keane.
Yeah.
He would have been his most favorite player on the pitch.
The weird thing is he wasn't that good a footballer. He was just a great leader and people showed up when they played with him. And he'd go in for any challenge. And I see a lot of that with the players that Mourinho tries to bring in. So, like, he's going for, I've just read now, Zaniolo from Roma, who, great player, but he's super aggressive. So he likes the kind of Eric Lamela kind of player that'll almost get in fights every game, you know?
I hate that.
Oh,
I
so do
cannot
man.
stand Lamella.
I don't even like Lamela, and I'm a Spurs fan. Uh, just aggressive, but he goes for it with his whole heart for every single loose ball.
He wants fighters, like literally and figuratively on his team.
Yeah, it's the same as Lo Celso against Arsenal. He was literally nudging the Arsenal players and like elbowing them when he got a chance just to wind them up to make a mistake. And I think Mourinho likes that. He likes those dirty tactics.
Yeah.
Yeah, you show that you want to win to Mourinho, and you're forever endeared in his heart.
Yeah.
It does worry me that, Ryan Sessegnon has not played. I don't think I recall him playing under Mourinho once. Definitely not since the restart. So, and
Yeah, again, like Mourinho's quite open. And I know that he's come out saying that Sessegnon just needs a couple of years. But I see Barcelona are after Sessegnon. Bayern Munich are after him as well. But I don't think Mourinho's going to let him go.
I mean, that'd be kind of foolish to do that.
He's young, man. He's 20 years old. We've got his only competition is Ben Davis. So I think he just needs a year or two out on loan somewhere. And I think that'll make him.
Imagine how Sessegnon feels right now, though. Like, he had that breakout season with Fulham. Then he joins Tottenham. He's all happy and everything. Yeah, I'm going to be playing. Then Mourinho comes and is like, yeah, you're not ready. You're not playing. Like imagine how he feels.
Yeah.
Well, Pochettino didn't play that much either, from what I remember. That's
true, but I mean, he played though.
He did play. That is a very valid point. He did come in as a sub, and he played in FA Cup games. But yeah, I don't think he started too many Premier League games.
Yeah. Well, he's probably. I think he kind of reminds me of Bale because Bale was a defender, but I mean, I don't remember Bale being that great of a defender, and he switched to midfield and just absolutely bloomed. And Sessegnon is he's a left back, but he's probably a better winger or just a left midfielder rather than a defender. Probably the same thing. So, and Mourinho isn't going to play you if your defense isn't on point, especially if you're supposed to be a defender. You're not gonna see grass at all.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I think Sessegnon would be a really good fit for three in the back when you play with him.
Yeah, play him on the left wing back role.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that.
He scored that goal against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Great goal. Straight on the volley. I don't know if you remember that, but
was that the same game that Bayern put 7 past you, or?
It might have been.
Wait, so are you saying that Sessegnon's the new Danny Rose? He scored a great volley, and then he's just gonna just waste away.
I think Sessegnon can be a really great player. I just think he needs to go out on loan because he was great in the Championship for Fulham, but when Fulham got promoted, he didn't do much. I think he only assisted twice. I think he scored 1 goal and it was a tap-in. But then Fulham got relegated. Similar with the Norwich situation. There's players on Norwich's team that I would take at Spurs any day, but for some reason the team doesn't work. You look at their play, Max Aarons, I think, is a great right back. I want him over Serge Aurier. I think Todd Cantwell is a great midfielder. We need someone like that. And I like Buendia as well. I think he's Argentinian.
Yeah.
Midfielder. He's a fantastic player, but for some reason the team doesn't do something.
There's one thing about teams and players like that. If you're on a team that isn't that good, but you're better than your teammates, you're going to look really good. It doesn't mean that you're really good. It just means that you're better than your teammates. So they might join another team and they might not be as good as their teammates right there, but they were shining because they're better than their other teammates. So sometimes that's just what it is. They're not that good. They're just better than everybody around them. And it shows because everybody else isn't up to their standard. So when they move to a better team, it's oh, wait, you're just not,
They're overshadowed. That is true. But I think Cantwell, the way that he played against some of these teams that have pretty good defense, I was really impressed. And his ability to switch the ball and willingness to go back and get the ball and bring it from the back forward, I think that's a great asset. And I do think he would slot in most of the mid-table teams.
Yeah.
Spurs, I think he would benefit them too.
I mean, we're mid-table at the moment, dude. Like, there's nothing special about the way we play. It's sad because like we should have won the league a couple of years ago against Leicester, but we slipped up against West Brom. Then Leicester went and won the league, and we came in second, third, and it's just been like a gradual decline. And now we are a mid-table team. I think I don't think there's a lot of quality other than Harry Kane, Son, Lucas. But as I said, like you need the team around you, and at the moment, our two main centre backs are 32 and 34, I think.
Hey, but you're above Arsenal. Don't forget that.
Yeah, but I mean that was a close win.
I mean, I think Spurs just need one or two solid midfielders and a center back that can partner well with, Alderweireld. I think you'll be okay for the next season. I think you will give a lot of people something to think about. But I do think the midfield is a big issue. So, and I it's with a lot of teams. Like I said, I think Manchester clubs are the only ones with good midfield that are the top six.
Yeah, but dude, I agree with you. Manchester City are just scary with what they've got. And speaking of Manchester City and the financial fair play stuff.
Oh my goodness, what a joke. What a joke.
Man. What? How do you even... I've seen so many memes, and since 2014, they've spent over $1 billion.
Yeah, it's like what? Like it just takes the fun out of it, man. It's like how are you supposed to compete with that? It's like they're pretty much just like buying everything. It's like, oh, just splash some money and then we'll win. It's like,
but even more of a slap in the face is I saw today that they're sorting out Pep Guardiola a new contract, and they're going to give him 150 million to bolster his squad. Where are you going to bolster? Like maybe left back, like because Mendy's injury prone.
Mendy's a fraud.
Yeah,
Mendy's a fraud.
He's a fraud that gets paid now.
He a World Cup winning forward.
Yeah, well, he barely played in the World Cup. Like, did he even play in the World Cup?
Oh, I saw a stat. He played 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. He has all these medals, but has barely played any minutes. The dude is just going to be injured for the season and keep on getting paid and keep on winning trophies. Fraud. That dude's a fraud, man.
I mean, on the plus side, on the other side of the field, I've got Kyle Walker, who I think is probably the best, in my opinion, one of the best right backs in the league. He's so dangerous going forward.
He's fast.
Like, so quick. You just can't get away from him. The only player that I've seen get away from him is Adama Traore.
Yeah, he's fast too.
Yeah. The only player I've seen make Kyle Walker look slow is Traore.
I would want to see a race between Kyle Walker, Traore, and Dan James.
Yeah.
I would want to see that.
I'd swap Dan James for Sam Maximan because I think that would be a better race.
Really? He's that fast too?
That dude is rapid, man.
Huh.
Like, I think Traore will win. I don't know, though, because they're quick off the line, but then Walker is so powerful that if you had a 100-meter race, I'd put my money on Walker coming back and winning it, but maybe the first 40 yards, Traore has most people.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
It turns into discussion of who you would take on your team if you could swap one out for a quick attacking player. It's annoying because I don't think United need it at the moment. Who are you going to swap? Like, all of your front three are in great form.
So that's the thing. Like, so Greenwood is like not a finished product, but if he continues to play, he'll definitely get better faster. But then if you bring in somebody else who's already like more of a finished product, I would say like because media keeps on talking about if you bring on like Sancho, and then have Greenwood come in for either like Rashford or Sancho in the second half, like that would be ridiculous. That'd be absolutely ridiculous. But
If you're either Sancho or Rashford, would you want to stay to play half 45 minutes or 60 minutes a game?
probably wouldn't want to stay, yeah. But the thing is, he's only Greenwood's only 18 though, and he signed. Well, that's the thing. I would rather keep Greenwood honestly, because I'm just like, yo, if the kid is young and he's already like scoring goals with both feet, like, and it's like placing it too, both feet just like equally powerful, placing it just like wherever he wants to. Dude, keep on playing him, man. Don't bring anybody else. It's like you had said earlier, Brato. It's like work on the defense. Like, just bring in a couple more defenders, and then we're set. Honestly,
I think Greenwood does need competition, but he needs, I think it needs to be a healthy competition, not someone that is just as young and just as talented as you. And then you're basically going to play second fiddle to him for foreseeable future, if you don't think you can surpass him. But bringing in 27, 28 in that role, I think that would create a better competition for Greenwood as to, I want to play now, and I'd rather, play now and have this guy be my backup than wait for him to retire and then have someone else come in. I think, I've never played professional soccer, but that would be
bring Sanchez back.
Yeah. But if you're Man City, though, right, you lost Sane, and you basically need to fill in that Mendy role, who else would you bring in? I mean, your offense, you still have one of the best strikers in the world, in Aguero.
Yeah.
Now, you have Gabriel Jesus, who is really good. You have Salah in midfield, even though David Silva is retiring, but Phil Foden is coming in to fill in that role. If you're Man City and you have 150 million, who are you going to buy?
Messi.
Defense.
Or somebody like, I don't know.
I think Pep knows that his defense, and I think Ollie is going to do the exact same thing. Pep is probably going to bring in Koulibaly from Napoli to partner with Aymeric Laporte. And he wants to bring in a left back because João Cancelo on the right has been a bit of a flop. So I think he'll probably bring in a left and right back, to be honest, to challenge Kyle Walker more than Cancelo has. And vice versa on the other side with Mendy. Mendy has Zinchenko. He's a good player, but the left side is their weak side.
I saw a quote from Koulibaly saying like, "Oh yeah, it's great to be linked to all these clubs, but he's like planning to stay in Napoli." I don't think Koulibaly's going anywhere. According to that quote.
This is where management comes in, and I think someone like Pep can so easily convince someone to come. Like we were saying earlier, even if it's for half a game, I think he can. This is why he's so successful: is he can paint the bigger picture for the player, and he can say, "But think about this. You'll help us win the Champions League because that's their number one goal right now. We'll win the Premier League again. Squad rotation is key, and we need you in that squad rotation." I think he's the master at making people feel settled, even when they're not playing as much as they are. Leroy Sané being the exception.
Yeah.
But he was apparently very difficult to work with, so I've heard.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but has Pep ever made any defender great? If you're a defender and you're not a finished product, would you want to play for Pep? Like John Stones was probably one of the hottest commodities in the market, and teams wanted him regardless of which team. I think he was being looked at by Madrid at a certain point. he has a lot of potential. He did really well. And then he goes to City to play for Pep, and he's not as good,
I totally forgot about him, actually. Like,
Yeah, exactly. You haven't heard about him. Laporte was fantastic in Spain, and I think he was more of a finished product than John Stones. And he's doing pretty well currently, but it's just I'm just wondering, has Pep, even in his glory days at Barcelona, has he ever made a defender so good that any young defender would be one like, oh, I want to play for Pep?
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, I know at City at the moment they've got that Eric Garcia, who is young and definitely has mistakes in him. It's a good point. He has it so spot on with Phil Foden to the point he's saying for the last 2 seasons, like, no, we're not going to send him out on loan. He's ready, but he just needs to be humbled. And he's showing up, and I don't think they will recruit another midfielder because they have that David Silva replacement. But to your point, I don't think there is a young defender that has been solely Pep's product.
Mm.
It's a good question. Maybe there is, and I'm not thinking of one, but I can't think there is one.
We'll research it for the next podcast because Pujol was already established. PK was fairly established. Maybe I'm wrong about PK because he was at United and didn't break through. And he got sold to Barcelona, but
Well, he was starting a bit before he went back to Barcelona.
was he?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, but it's something might be worth researching, looking into if Pep made any great defenders, and if that's the case, if you're a young defender wanted to play, why would you want to come to the City? You're going to win trophies, but are you really going to get better? And I think that's the case with all of these young players, which is why I think there's so much desire to go to Germany because they get opportunity in Germany to develop. And Italy too. Ole Aina that plays in Torino that Chelsea just sold.
He's doing well.
He's doing really well. Killing it.
And look at Salah, man.
Yeah.
Got it at Chelsea, went to Roma, and now look at him.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, I mean, that's German. Yeah, again, like the German and Italian leagues, they really do take in youngsters and make them. Yeah,
Which is what I'm hoping England will become too. Because at a certain point, regarding this Man City, ruling, that might change, but at a certain point, you just kind of want to stick with the talent. Otherwise, you're just always going to go over that financial fair play. But if there's no repercussions, then hey, why not? If you're a millionaire, splash that cash. I would.
Yeah, it's just like in baseball. Baseball has the they have the salary cap or whatever, but you can go over the salary cap and just pay a fine, and that's basically what City did. It's like, oh yeah, I would have spent the money, and oh, there's a fine. All right, yeah, here you go. And that's pretty much what they just did.
Yeah, it was like a 10 million euro fine, I think, which for them, I actually read something earlier on that the owner of Man City, he makes so much money a minute that at 9 a.m., if they got the 10 million euro fine, by 11 a.m., he could have paid it off. That's how much money he makes.
It's ridiculous.
That's crazy kind of money.
Yeah.
I cannot even conceptualize it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's insane.
it's kind of like talking about a freaking Big Bang. Like, I cannot even understand what happened there.
Like 10 million in 2 hours.
I just need to make that much for like just 1-2 hours. Like, I just need 2 hours. I never have to make that much again in my life.
Yeah.
Hire you as a Chelsea recruiter, work your way up to get on the Abramovich yacht.
Well, I mean, that, the ruling I do think I think it's really odd, and I'm disappointed by it because smaller clubs, I feel like the financial fair play is designed to help the smaller clubs, and at this point, is it really going to help any of the smaller clubs if it's not being enforced?
Yeah.
What did you guys think about the disallowed goal by Sacco?
Oh, mate, it brings up VAR in general. What do you guys think about VAR right now? There's been so many mistakes, and not just like me being biased saying, oh, there's been so many mistakes. They've genuinely come out saying we made mistakes in all 3 of the games today, kind of thing. Like, that's ridiculous.
I will repeat this and repeat this and repeat this. I believe that there's a bunch of people in England that don't want VAR to work because it works so well in Australia, it works so well in Germany, it works so well in other countries, but all of a sudden when it comes to England, it's just like, oh, we don't know what we're doing. Like, how does this work? Like, dude, you could just like copy their homework, man. Just look at what they're doing, copy it verbatim, and it would totally work. Like, how can it work in a whole bunch of other countries and not work in one? That doesn't add up. I would say somebody's purposefully sabotaging it. That's right now. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I don't get it at all, man. Like, I look at what they do in Australia, where like you can hear the ref speaking to the officials on like the loudspeaker, and the officials are just like, the ref will be like, "Was that a penalty? Nope. Okay, get on the game." But here in England, it's like takes 5 minutes for them to look at the tiniest of angles. Like the Bruno Fernandes penalty was one of the worst ones I've seen.
That was horrible. I'm a Manchester United fan, and like, dude, like he stepped on his leg. Like, if you step on somebody, whether you meant to or not, it should be a card. Like, that's end of story. You can't step on people at all because it's dangerous. It doesn't matter if you want to or not. It's dangerous. You should be carded. That's it. And he got a penalty. It's like, I don't know. Like, you can't even defend it at all. I can't defend that.
I made a comment, and it was a joke, but kind of mean it, that the best signing United have had this season has been done. And I think it is absolutely true. You guys have got away with so much. Like the Maguire red card, I'm still not over it. It happened like
when he kicked him in the balls.
Yeah. He was protecting himself so the guy doesn't fall on him. You're kidding.
That was bad.
I can't get over how bad the VAR has been. And there have been good moments. It hasn't been all bad. But I wish that it was not that subjective as to what constitutes a penalty kick. Bruno Fernandes, right? It's like, oh, did the defender touch him? Absolutely. Did Bruno Fernandes do a spin on the ball and then step on a defender and then trip because he stepped on the defender? Sure. Is there really any room for subjectivity on that matter? I think that's what I'm struggling to understand. Because it seems like Harry Kane, Son, kicks a Chelsea player in the balls and it's a red card. Maguire does it 2 weeks later and it's not. And it's just there's no objectivity. It seems like it's very subjective based on who the player is. And it should. I don't think it should be.
That's it. There's just no consistency. It's the same. I'll take it back a couple of weeks to the Sheffield United Tottenham incident.
That was ridiculous too.
But like Lucas Moura gets fouled, hits off his hand, Kane goes on to score. Goal gets disallowed, fine, it gets disallowed. What I don't get then is why it doesn't get brought back for the free kick, because a week later, the same thing happened. I can't remember what game it was, the exact same situation, and the ref brought it back for the free kick. So there's
right. That's what should have been done.
Yeah. And I feel bad for Sheffield United when the goal line decision system didn't work and they scored that goal. VAR should be looking at that immediately saying, ref, that went in. Ref stops the game, 1-0, kickoff.
Yeah.
But I agree, like it's too, Mourinho said it's more like the referee on the field is the assistant referee and the VAR team are the actual referees, whereas it should be the complete opposite.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that because I feel like the video assistant referee is there just in case it was a clear and obvious mistake by the referee. And I don't know how, as a video assistant referee, can you really see if it's a clear and obvious mistake in some of those instances, like Lucas Moura, what happened with Lucas Moura. And at that point, though, I think it would be better if the video assistant referee was actually the real referee rather than, it wasn't the clear and obvious mistake by the main referee, and that's why we're not going to overturn it. Harry Kane incident, just a PK against Arsenal, right? The referee was standing there looking at it. If you're a video assistant referee, how can you think that a referee is actually looking at that and not making a clear and obvious mistake? Do you really want to overturn the main referee's decision, and then the conversation becomes, well, the referee on the field is an assistant referee? I think Mourinho did more damage with that comment than actually good.
Right?
I think both of them should be on the same level, though. Like, you don't say that one is an assistant, just like, and the whole, like, the language of just like, oh, it has to be a clear and obvious error. So just like, okay, if the referee made an error, but it's not clear and it's not obvious there was an error, then it still stands. So it's just like, that's also subjective too. Like, okay, what's a clear and obvious error? So the ref can make an error, but if it's not clear it was an error, then, it's fine.
This is why the Australia example is great, because if we had actually a video feed, the video assistant referee was like, well, did you see the push and Harry Kane from behind?
Yeah.
And if the referee on the field said, yeah, I saw it, but I also saw that he hit Alderweireld's leg, that's why I'm not going to give it a penalty, then I would be like, well, that's tough break, but I understand their reasoning behind it.
Exactly.
Now, you don't know what's going on. And I think that communication needs to be made public. I really do.
I agree.
Big time.
That will help.
Even in Germany, like, the ref would stop the game if there was a decision that needs to be made. And I just don't know why they don't do that in the Premier League. Like, if the Sheffield United goal is a perfect example, like, it's a goal. VAR would have seen that literally immediately. At that point, he needs to tell the ref to stop the game. It's a goal.
Yeah.
The technology failed. It's a goal. Get on with it.
Or you can just say, hey, check. Hey, it looked like it went in. Let me look at it again. Like, take a break. And then, like, he's going to, like, look at it. Oh, yeah, it was a goal. I mean, but the more we talk about, like, I feel like there's also just, like, this, like, fight to keep football just, like, traditional. There's not a lot of stops, you know? So it's like, if you want to have that, so, like, in that situation, it's like the game would have to stop. You don't want to have to add additional stops. And I think that's also probably part of the resistance of just, like, giving the VAR more power, because if they give them more power, then they can stop the game at any point in time and be like, oh, I saw this, let's check it. Oh, I saw this, let's check it. Then people start getting mad because, like, oh, football is supposed to be free flowing. You only stop for actual fouls. You don't stop to, like, just, like, check the game, you know? They turn into, like, something else.
But if there's communication, like if there is a serious foul, serious play that happens, such as Lucas Moura falling and hitting the ball on hand, and the VAR then needs to request that the referee on the field check the monitor to see what the call is. Because if he disagrees with him, right, if he thinks that he has better view and he disagrees with him, then he can be like, you should probably check the monitor. I don't necessarily agree with this decision. He checks the monitor, and then he can choose whether or not what's it going to be. Because at this point, what's happening is the blame is being shifted, and you actually don't know who to blame. Because we don't know what's happening. You don't know what the communication is. We don't know, if what the referee is saying to the VAR, the video assistant referee. So I think the blame is just being shifted, and we don't know where to point our anger. And we're just blaming who they are. And I don't think that they're necessarily the ones to blame per se, because at a certain point, the referee has the ability and authority to go to the sidelines and check the monitor, and he doesn't. And I don't understand why not.
I agree. I don't know why
even
it happened more.
Dude, forget the monitor, man. Throw it up on the big screen. Like throw up on a big screen, show all the angles, and talk through the angles, and then like, okay, let's hear what you have to say. And then like we'll understand. Like it's like almost like they're hiding behind this like screen of just like, oh, whose fault is it? I don't know, is it VAR or is it the match official? Blame whoever you want to blame, but we don't know whose it is. It's like, let's hear what they're saying. Let's see what they're looking at, how they came to their decision. And then like, okay, all right, yeah, maybe they didn't come to the decision that we would like, but if there's an explanation, it's like, okay, all right, I get it. But
My fear is that this season is ending so late that the new season is starting in a month, and nothing is going to be changed about VAR. Nothing.
yeah,
And we're going to be in the same boat as we were this year, and so much frustration and anger is going to happen because these referees, the video assistant referee, I don't know if things are different when you're looking at it from that point of view versus when you're in the field, but it doesn't seem like they're very trained at it. And it's very subjective, and the subjectivity is not very well communicated. And it makes me think that there is some foul play happening even when there isn't. I mean, as a Manchester United fan, you see 24 penalties. Have you not good this year? Sure. Have they been good enough to get 24 penalties this season?
It scares me. It scares me because remember when like Juventus got caught for like match fixing and all that, and they got relegated. Like for me, that's becoming a fear. Like is my club cheating, and are we going to get caught and then get like absolutely punished? Like I don't know, like how I would deal with that. Like it is legit. Like I mean, we've had a lot of legitimate penalties. I will say that, but also at the same time, it's like you look at 24, 25, and the next person next to you is like in like I think it was like 13 or something like that. It's like.
That's it, man. It's just like
it just looks shady. Like it just looks shady.
Especially considering like United are good, right? But are they any better than City and Liverpool have not nearly as many penalties? And to me, that's just like, okay, City is probably the best team. Liverpool is the best team in the world. And they don't nearly have as many penalties. And I know it's a style of play that comes into that. But at the same time, United, while they are direct and have been quite more direct this year than any other years, 24 penalties seems exuberant amount. So I'm hoping there's no foul play happening. And
Same here, man.
I hope it's been just mistakes.
I mean, this is another subject that we could go on about all day. Just we can keep talking about VAR. I'm sure we will. I'm sure this time next week we'll be talking about another decision that's gone against someone. But I wanted to walk you boys through. So I've done like a dream team for this week's games. So we can change them out, but Nick Pope in goal because he had an amazing game for Burnley.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Really kept Burnley in that game, and they got a draw at Anfield, which ended Liverpool's win streak at home. So we all enjoy that.
Yeah.
Then up front, this was the most obvious one. Sterling got a hat trick. McGoldrick 2 goals, and I think may have got the assist. And Antonio got 4 goals.
Yeah, there's no way he's not getting in.
The attackers are. There's no question there. It's more the midfield and the defense I wanted to talk about.
You think you want to put McGoldrick up there instead of Dominic Solanke?
I think so. I was watching McGoldrick all game, and he just bossed the Chelsea back line. So I think he deserves it. Whereas Solanke,
that's not saying much when you boss a Chelsea backline, but I agree. It was pretty good. I just thought. Leicester is, regardless of the form that they're in, they're still a hard team to score 4 against, and I was surprised by Bournemouth that they were able to do that.
Yeah, I was surprised by the score.
Leicester did go down to 10 men, and then they got sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I think McGoldrick just edges it.
That's fair.
I think Osborne in midfield, he had a fantastic game against Chelsea. He really was everywhere. Rodri is probably the one that I think we could swap if we found someone else. And then Neves had an incredible game for Wolves, so I think he deserves to be there. So who would you guys swap?
I'm okay with Rodri. The other suggestion I had, Steve-O, was Armstrong from today's game.
Okay.
I know United didn't really show up to play, but he was there to keep him in check, and he got a goal. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with keeping Rodri in.
We can put Armstrong on the bench.
That works.
And then the only other one was Osborne. He didn't do anything notable, but I just think he was everywhere and he made the right passes and the right decisions, which, you might look at it and think it was he played safe, he played boring. Chelsea didn't even get a look in at the goal because of players like him. So I think that he deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in defence, Diego Rico, who I agree with now. I completely forgot about him. Chris Basham from Sheffield United. Toby Alderweireld, and Kyle Walker on the right. I think Walker had a great game. Again, City kind of didn't have a challenge. 5-0, bossed it. And it starts again with tomorrow's game, Chelsea v Norwich.
Oh, boy. Norwich about to get spanked.
I don't know, man.
So
I think they're relegated. I think they're going to come and prove a point.
See, I watched – who did Norwich play last week? Who did they play?
Oh, who was it? It's who
Aston
relegated?
Villa? No, it was – shoot. It was West Ham.
West Ham. Yeah.
They didn't have anything. Like, West Ham was just absolutely just giving it to them. Like, West Ham was just like, after they scored like the third or fourth goal, West Ham was just like, all right, we're just going to like pass the ball around the box and, when we feel like it, we'll score. Like, after the third goal. That's what it looked like. It's like, we're just going to like fool around the ball and, when we feel like it, maybe we'll give it back to you. That's seriously what, that's what it looked like. And Chelsea right now, like knows, like, with like, Chelsea has so much motivation to win right now because like that fire is lit. Because like Manchester United, we just gave them a chance to stay in top 4 by tying, so they're not gonna like just sit back and like let that opportunity go.
I do think that Chelsea will have too much for Norwich.
Yeah,
but I think it'll be. I wouldn't be surprised if Norwich got a goal. So I think it's going to be about 3-1 to Chelsea. I think
as long as Tammy Abraham doesn't start because his finishing was absolutely woeful in that last game.
Oh my God. I don't understand that. I was trying to avoid talking about Chelsea because I have so much. I don't understand that. If I was Tammy Abraham and I knew a striker that was good is coming to challenge me for my spot and I want a bigger contract, why would I not do everything I possibly can to win? His runs weren't that good. He was just not good. He was not a starter for a top 4 team.
No.
I have never, I know he had an injury, but come on, man. It's like, get your fucking head in a game. I hate seeing his posts on Instagram. Time to play some freaking Call of Duty, boys. Work on your finishing, asswipe. Go do what you can do in FIFA. I'd rather you. God. I don't understand it. It's like he does not want to play. And I think at this point, Chelsea has to think about getting another striker.
You don't want Giroud and Werner or Timo?
Giroud is too old. I think Giroud is 33? I don't know how much longer Giroud can play 90 minutes at a top performance level.
True. I mean, you got Werner coming in, and I think he will light it up.
Yeah.
I think so, too. I honestly think he will do great, but I really wanted Tammy Abraham to succeed. For crying out loud, I have his jersey on. This crap. So, just to support him, and he's not delivering. He's not delivering as someone the way that he plays is not telling me I want a starting spot on the team. It's more like I'm okay playing a second fiddle.
Yeah.
And that's what he is right now. He is playing a second fiddle. Pulisic was awful that game too. I think Lampard got it wrong. I think they were the team was tired, and I think Lampard got it wrong.
I mean, Sheffield are an easy team to underestimate because just 2 weeks earlier, Mourinho did the exact same thing, and Sheffield came and just wiped the floor with us. And they did the same thing to Chelsea.
They're so organized. Chelsea moves the ball from right to left, and you know what happens? The entire team shifts. The entire team shifts, and it's not very unorganized shift where you leave holes. Chelsea could not break through, and it sucks. This is how bad we play in midfield. That Barkley was our best player.
He was still shit.
He was still god awful, but he was our best midfielder. To me, that was just mind blowing. We missed the energy of Conte in there. We don't have anyone that's able. We don't have Fernandes that's able to get the ball and penetrate the defense. Like not a single midfielder on our team does that. And it sucks. I'm heartbroken about it. I want Mason Mount to succeed so bad. I want Ruben Loftus-Cheek to succeed, but they're just not doing it. Even though Mason Mount is probably going to get a starting spot because he deserves it, he's becoming more of a box-to-box player. You know, we don't have anyone to penetrate the defense. I don't know what I think we need Kai Havertz. I really do.
Yeah, he's exceptional player. I mean, you have Ziyech coming, but I agree. If you could get Havertz as well, that'd be scary.
If we can't play, if we don't get into fourth, if we don't get top four at the Champions League spot, the premise of us getting him, I think, just drops. Because I'm sure he wants to play Champions League football.
I think you're gonna stay in top four because you have to drop 2 spots to drop out of it. You're in third, so
not hard. Our goal difference compared to Manchester United is off by.
Oh yeah, your goal difference. Well, no, it's because you have just as many goals, but your defense has been awful. So your goal difference isn't great. But Leicester City has to play us and have to play Tottenham, so that's a good possibility of 2 losses for Leicester City.
We have to play Liverpool and Wolverhampton.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's going to be a toss-up. Our schedule is shit.
Mm.
And I knew that we're going to – I just have a feeling we're going to lose to Liverpool. I just have that feeling. Liverpool wants to get to that 100-point mark. They want to beat City. Liverpool's not going to drop any more points.
But they just tied Burnley though.
Burnley is one of those annoying teams to play like freaking.
They are.
They're so compact and organized that you cannot break down that. You need a moment of brilliance to break that defense, and I don't think Liverpool had it in them that day. None of their players had that moment of brilliance to beat the team. But at the same time, though, it's just. You don't need moment of brilliance to get past Chelsea's defense. That's for sure. All you need is like a 30-yard shot, and more than likely, if it's on fucking target, it's gonna go in because Kepa's not stopping shit. Like
he's so bad. He's so bad.
You can see goals. Like any team, and this is the crazy part. If I was Chelsea and I saw how easy other teams can score against us. By taking shots from outside the box, why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't Mason just rip one? Not Barkley. I've seen plenty of that asshole shoot. And I hate him. We need to have like top 10 most hated players. That needs to be our list. That we're just gonna have the top 10 most hated players, and I'm just gonna fill it with Barkley. Larry Clamella is probably the other one. Harry Maguire. I hate them all equally.
I have that too with Harry Winks. When Harry Winks shoots from outside the box, I'm like, You might as well have passed it back to Lloris and start again, because
Yeah.
I've never seen that man take one decent shot his whole career.
Why does he play center mid?
That's
I
it. I don't understand as a professional footballer how you can't shoot. I don't get it. It's one of those rare occasions when you watch the game and it's a little bit of like your ego talking. But there's been situations Winks has been in where I've been like, I could have done better than that. I could have at least got it on target. Like, he'll blast it over the bar, it will go to the corner flag with no pressure. And how, as a professional player, like, can you be like that? I wouldn't want anyone in my team that can't shoot, even the defenders.
Well, it's even worse when a team doesn't take a shot. Like, I watched Manchester United. What did you guys won 3-0? Who was it that you played? It was a week ago. When Pogba just scored that outside of the 18-yard box, and I was like, you know what? Chelsea has quality to take those shots. Mason Mount has a good shot. He takes free kicks. He has a decent shot. Kovacic has a decent shot. Conte can shoot. Like, we have people that can shoot from the outside the box, and we don't do it.
Do they have the space to shoot though? That's the thing. Do they have the space to shoot?
You gotta create space, whether you had the space or not, right? It's just a 1-2, and then you take a shot, and the ball might ricochet off a defender and go in the goal or go for the corner. It's like, if I was Lampard, I would demand at least 3 shots from outside the box per game. Don't rush it. Just take 3 shots. I would tell my midfield, take 3 shots. Because if you don't do it, it's a wasted opportunity. And I don't understand why teams don't shoot from outside the box anymore. What's the difference if you rip it from 18 yards or 22 yards, or if you pass it to the side and they cross it and you have 3 people in the box compared to the other team's 6? Like, what's the difference with that? Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. We don't get forward enough to have like multiple players in the box.
Brato, I'll just give you a little bit of positive news though. Like, there's reports, who knows how like accurate they are, but they're saying that Chelsea is probably going to try and sign Dean Henderson.
We signed a goalkeeper already, so it probably won't happen.
Wait, that was the Moroccan kid or whatever?
Turkish guy.
Oh, the Turkish guy?
Yeah.
He's 24, and he was doing pretty well in
Dude.
or wherever he was playing. So I don't know why they would get Dean Henderson if they already have a 24-year-old in there, unless we're gonna get rid of Kepa and then buy.
Well, that's what it said. It's like it depends on getting a buyer for Kepa, because I mean you just like spent like what 75 million on Kepa. Like, you have to make some of that money back. Like, you're not gonna have a keeper that you spent that much money on sitting on the bench. Like, he's eating up a whole bunch of just like money just sitting there.
Yeah, I've said it from the very beginning. The first time I saw Kepa play, I was well excited to see him play because I thought, wow, a goalie that's worth 75 mil, I think you paid for him. The first game he made that mistake, I think it was against Jamie Vardy, where Kepa tried like Cruyff turning him. Vardy just pushed him off the ball and scored. And I was like, okay, let's see how well he does.
Yeah.
And the whole game, I was like, he hasn't done one thing that's impressed me. And it's been that way ever since. I just don't think he's good. I don't think he's championship quality even.
See, I thought it was gonna be like David De Gea, because David De Gea started like rough. Like, he started really rough. But then he adapted to the Premier League. Like, okay, Premier League is physical, and like, hey, you have to command the box. Like, if there's crosses, you got to be up there. You can't just like wait for the ball to come in, like drop in the box. Like, that was one of his biggest weaknesses. But like, he grew into it. Like, started commanding. Like, he still doesn't command the box, but he's better at it though. And like, he kind of grew into it like after a year or two. But like, Kepa has not really shown that. Like, oh, I've adjusted to the league, and yeah, I'm worth like 75 million. He has not grown into it at all. Like, it's
go to PSG. PSG would be the ideal place for Kepa because he thinks he's good. and they don't concede that many goals because they play in a league that the level is not the same.
Yeah.
Like,
He did really well in Spain too, and I just don't understand why. I mean, his biggest weakness is set pieces, and he's not very good at it. And he needs to get better. But if I was United, I wouldn't sell Dean Henderson. Why would I
No,
sell
I
him?
wouldn't.
no, definitely not.
And if I was
Quality.
to sell him to English rival like Chelsea, I wouldn't sell him for less than $95 million.
But like we're in a tough spot though, because like it's just like, okay, do you just say to De Gea, like, you know what, that's it, you're done? Like, I mean, he's not been doing well these past 2 seasons. He's been kind of like, but then we have Sergio Romero, who's our second choice goalkeeper. I would not want his first choice goalkeeper. I don't think he's good enough to be first choice. But then do you sign Dean Henderson, who's definitely not, he's good. I don't think he's like first choice Manchester United material yet, but he will be. But it's like, how do you like juggle all those 3 goalkeepers right there? Like,
I think Dean Henderson is better than De Gea. And I think De Gea is a better shot blocker, but overall, I think Dean Henderson is better, and especially his distribution of the ball. I mean, that kid can kick the ball, I'm pretty sure, 85, 90 yards. When you have fast players like Greenwood or
Rashford.
I think he would just be significantly better fit for United than De Gea is. De Gea is going to stop like the craziest and most unstoppable shots ever. But he's also going to let in some of the easiest shots that you probably should
Well, he
say.
has. Yeah, and he's done that so many times.
His kind of MO. It's like, I'm going to make some crazy leg save, then I'm going to do a drop kick to stop the ball going into the top bin. But I'm just going to let this one go through my legs this once. So I think if I was United, I would sell De Gea and keep Dean Henderson. I think he has developed into one of the best goalkeepers. And if I was Chelsea, I'd buy Pope. That's who I would buy.
Ooh, Nick Pope. Yeah. Yeah.
Quality player.
And I think we can buy him. I think Burnley is a mid-table team, and I think he would want to come and play possibly and improve. I mean, who wouldn't want to be coached by Peter Cech, you know?
He definitely would, because he's also chasing the England #1 spot.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to want to be in the top 6.
And he's never gonna. I don't think he can be in England #1 playing for Burnley. I think that might be a bit of a challenge to do.
You say that, but then our #1 at the moment is Pickford.
That's true.
Small arm Pickford.
Oh no! So what's your score predictions for tomorrow, Chelsea Norwich?
I'm gonna say 4-1.
4-1. Steve-O?
3-0.
3-0. So I think 3-1.
Chelsea.
3-1 Chelsea, and I think Pulisic will get 2.
I don't think he'll start.
I think he will.
I'll be amazed if he starts with United game looming.
Oh, the FA Cup. What's the semifinal again? It's coming up soon, isn't it?
This weekend, I thought.
Oh boy.
That'd be a good game.
Yeah, July.
I'm scared of that game, man, because I don't know if Ollie's gonna start like second string, and then we'll just end up losing because we're going second string, and like Pereira and Lingard are just both trash when it comes to creating in the midfield. But I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
Because I'm really excited. I really don't think United should have beat us twice this season. I think United got very lucky both games.
By scoring 4 goals the first one?
Well, if I remember correctly, there was like a VAR incident. Like, it was like one of the very first game, and there was a kind of VAR incident. And that cost us a goal. So I think I'm really excited for it. I think we will eliminate United. I don't think
I'm thinking so too, actually.
I don't think Lampard is going to lose to United 3 games in a row.
But I don't know.
I don't think the Chelsea defence can handle the United attack if Ollie starts his strongest 11.
Well, you know what? Actually, no. I take it back. We can actually beat Chelsea with even with second string. So right now, starting 11 has like Matic and Pogba as the holding midfielders. So they're like deep line midfielders who are playmakers. But then McTominay and Fred are also deep line midfielders, but not as good playmakers. They're more like harassing, just like, oh, you got the ball, I will harass you until I foul you or until I get the ball. I'll make your life difficult. And then you have somebody up top, like maybe he plays Fernandez for a bit, or maybe he plays like, hopefully not Pereira because that would be horrible. But maybe he plays like
Mata.
like maybe like Mata and Lingard, right? Like they have both. Mata's really good. He needs somebody to play off of. If he doesn't have anybody's like play his style of play, he's not as effective. But if you have like Mata and Lingard, maybe he can do something. But we'll be fine defensively just because our holding midfielders would just like harass people. And if like Chelsea isn't like creating anything, then we're fine. And then we just need like, I don't know, a Dan James counterattack to score.
I think if Chelsea has Conte, Kovacic, and Mount in the middle, we're talking about a completely different game in midfield.
Mm.
The last
still injured, man. I thought.
time we played you guys, I think that Conte didn't even play the first game, did he? Against you guys, he might have been hurt.
I don't think so.
But I think that's been our weakness, is that we don't have that energy in a midfield other than Mount, who actually pushes up significantly higher to press for the ball to cover for the slowliness of Abraham and Giroud, that it leaves the midfield slightly exposed. And I think with Conte in there, we'll be able to overcompensate for that.
Yeah.
I think if Conte plays, I think Chelsea is going to win fine. But if
He's a difference maker.
I think if Conte doesn't play, you're right. Your midfield will be able to distribute and play the ball any way that you want to. But with Conte playing, both Fernandez and Pogba are going to be under pressure from Kovacic, who is, I think, one of the most improved players this season by a mile.
Underrated.
I hated him last year. When Chelsea signed him from Madrid, I was like, why are you spending 30 million on it? I was wrong. I was so wrong. I was not impressed with him the first season he was on loan. But my goodness, under Lampard. And what I love about him, what he does that so far no one else does other than Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but his not match fit yet really, is that he takes the ball and then he drives it forward. And I don't think any of our midfields do that. Barkley gets the ball, and I don't think the guy can pass more than 25 yards. He just side passes. He side passes, or it's like just passes it 5 feet in front of him.
I hope Loftus-Cheek gets a start.
I would like to see Loftus-Cheek get a start tomorrow. I think he needs it against that Norwich team.
He could be next level amazing if I don't think they know his best position yet.
I always said put him as a striker. I always said put him or Marcos Alonso as a striker. Alonso is being wasted being on a bench. If I had a choice between Alonso or Batshuayi who to put as a striker, Alonso every single day.
Oh yeah, he can finish.
Yeah.
He's a liability in defense. So it's like
if he plays forward though, that liability is gone.
Yeah. It's another Bale. Just like, why is he a defender? It's like, dude can finish, so.
What I love about Loftus-Cheek is his hold-up play is on par with Antonio, I think. He is so strong and it's so hard to get.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Antonio is just a different beast.
God, he bullied that Chelsea defense so bad. I felt bad for him.
Me too. I am glad I'm not playing against him. He's so strong, so quick.
Rudiger is a World Cup defender. Like, he played for Germany and won World Cup, and he got pushed around. Embarrassing. He hasn't started since that game.
Here's a question, lads. Who are your top 5 players in the world?
Oh,
That's a tough one.
that is a tough one.
I would say Messi. I would say Cristiano Ronaldo, Lucas not Lucas, but Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Prior to this season, I would have argued Hazard, but
Exact same. Hazard at
Yeah.
Chelsea.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was Mbappe would be up there. Is that 4?
You think so? Yeah.
And I'm torn between Sergio Aguero or Karim Benzema.
Hmm.
And
You put Benzema that high?
Yeah.
you know,
Benzema's a great all-round striker.
I honestly think when he was playing with Ronaldo, all the spotlight was on Ronaldo and he was okay being the role player. But since Ronaldo left, I think Benzema has been carrying that team. He's been carrying that team with assists. He's been carrying that team with goals. You know, they were awful. And Zidane comes in and comes back, I should say. And here we go. Benzema is just playing so well again. So I think so. Based on this year, that's what I would do. Based on this year, those are my top 5. And Aguero, I don't think he's been playing as much. He's had some injury issues, and I don't have Kevin De Bruyne on there because I think there's so much talent in that City team. It is easy to be that good when you have that much talent surrounding you.
I would argue and say that he makes them that good. I mean, they have firepower everywhere, but without De Bruyne, they're not the same. I'm not as scared of them if they played Tottenham without De Bruyne than if they played Tottenham with De Bruyne.
I think when you have in the midfield option of David Silva,
Gundogan, sorry, he's a great player.
Yeah, Gundogan.
Mahrez on the wing.
Yeah, Rodri now. I think and I'm not taking anything away from Kevin. I think he's definitely probably 7th or 8th on my list. But I think when you have that much talent, it's easy to be that good because no matter what ball you deliver to them, Aguero is going to score anything he latches onto 8 out of 10 times.
Oh, yeah, I still think he's. If Harry Kane was on a better team, I'd put Harry Kane up there, but I think him and Lewandowski are the best strikers in the world.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Benzema, for me, at this point, is up there. Just because Harry Kane has had injuries and he doesn't have nearly as good of assistance that Karim Benzema does to actually showcase that. But the only reason I'm putting Benzema up there is because he's actually been assisting just as much as scoring. And I think that's just – you can't take that away. Like, strikers like Benzema and Firmino who are willing to come back, get the ball, and, administer it, that's good.
That's the thing about Benzema. Like, he's not just like I'm just here to score goals. He's like, yeah, I'm here for the whole team. Like, he'll do whatever it takes to, like, make the team score. And if it happens to be him scoring, cool. If somebody else scoring, he doesn't care. Just like, he's there to facilitate everybody.
Yeah.
What about you, Steve-O? Your top 5?
I don't know, man. It's hard. That's a hard question. But, like, I mean, Messi definitely number 1. I almost don't feel like putting Ronaldo in there just because I don't know. I feel like his game has changed a lot since when it was like almost like considered like equal with Messi. His game has definitely changed a lot. But he's definitely I'll still say number 2, Ronaldo. I really want to put a Man United player in there, but I can't let bias like But yeah, no, Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski. Are we doing like by the season or just like how we feel, just like for the players?
Just like how you feel in general, I think.
I feel okay. Then I would say Messi, Cristiano, Neymar, Aguero, and Lewandowski.
And that'd make a good team right there.
It would.
Just for a record, Benzema this season has 19 goals and 8 assists.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
35
Yeah.
games.
Wow, that's pretty good.
It's interesting that I think my top 5 would be Messi, Ronaldo, De Bruyne, Neymar, and probably Lewandowski as well. And it's interesting because there's not one Liverpool player in any of our.
No, not even close.
I think Liverpool are a great team, and that's why they are the English champions.
Ugh.
There's not a single player I think they're all outstanding. So it's really hard to pick Salah versus Sadio Mane, or Firmino, who actually does more work than probably both of those per game. So I think they have a great team. Klopp is by far the best manager in the world, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I think he's fantastic.
Really?
Yeah. To think what he's able to do and not spend. How much money did Pep spend so far? $1 billion?
$1 billion.
To do that and not spend $1 billion, it's amazing, and same can be said for Zidane. Zidane has done really well in training.
Zidane has had player. I would say that's a little bit different though. If you look at the players that are on Real Madrid, they're on a little bit different level. But I mean, you do have a point though. He's not just going out there just bringing in just Galacticos other.
Yeah, he's I think he gave Isco and Vasquez that kind of bloomed under him. I like that.
Actually, you know what? I would put Bale in my top 5. And
Just for taking the piss.
No, not for taking the piss. He's that good. It's just he doesn't get the for whatever is between him and Zidane. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But Bale, when he latches onto the ball on the left side of the field, something's gonna happen. I still remember. Oh man, I still remember when I was playing for Tottenham, and he just absolutely just destroyed Maicon multiple times over those 2 legs in the Champions League. I was like, what is going on?
He tore it up in that Champions League run.
It was so ridiculous, and he still does it too. He still does it. That was his breakout season or whatever. But he still does it to people. He just runs down the left side of the field. He don't it doesn't look like he's going that fast, and all of a sudden he's in the box. When do you get there? He just it has just the most just the weakest looking shot, but places it perfectly. I was whoa, wow, that's Bale though. He's not he's not a great all around player, but if you have him running down the left side of the field, he's very likely to score. Very likely to score.
I will take Hazard over Bale.
Whoa.
I think Bale is just super lazy. And I don't think he cares now that he gets paid. So I wouldn't put Bale in even my top 30.
I mean, so I think the thing is I agree with you. I'll say if you go by just his talent, he's great. But if you go all around, do you want him on your team? Want to deal with whatever his attitude is? You probably don't want him.
Yeah, that's true. But I do think he is an expert troll.
He is.
What was the shirt? Ireland Golf Madrid? Is that
Wales Golf Madrid. But so he didn't start that though. But he did hop on the wagon though.
He's I like this.
Oh man. Well, did you see that? Did you see the picture of him asleep with the face mask over his eyes?
Yeah. There was another one today that he had a sheet of paper rolled up like this, and he was doing that.
Dude is living his best life, just getting paid just hundreds of thousands of dollars a week and just sitting on the bench. He's.
I mean, I'm sure he doesn't try hard in training either. He doesn't need to.
No.